I never thought I'd fall in love with the woman who pretended to fire me." James's voice breaks as he looks directly into the camera, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. "But sometimes life's cruelest tests lead to our greatest blessings." He pauses, swallowing hard. And when Emma walked into my office that day with those 3 devastating words, neither of us could have imagined where we'd end up. Or that in just 6 months, I'd be making the most important decision of my life. The morning Emma Sullivan walked into Westridge Marketing Agency, the entire office held its breath. Sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating her as she moved with purposeful strides across the polished floor. Her white silk blouse contrasted perfectly with her tailored charcoal suit, long blonde hair cascading over her shoulders in soft waves. As the newly appointed creative director, her reputation had preceded her. Brilliant, demanding, and utterly merciless when it came to underperformance. James Parker had been with the company for 5 years. At 38, he was the agency's most valuable copywriter, known for his razor-sharp campaigns and ability to salvage even the most difficult clients. But lately, his work had suffered. The dark circles under his eyes told the story his colleagues were too polite to mention. Single parenthood was taking its toll. Since losing his wife to cancer 2 years ago, James had been raising 7-year-old Lily alone. The balancing act between being fully present for his daughter and maintaining his career excellence had become increasingly impossible. Late nights helping with homework, early mornings making breakfast and packing lunches, and the constant emotional support Lily needed left little time for creative brilliance. Emma had reviewed everyone's files before her first day. James Parker's recent performance metrics concerned her, despite his impressive history. The agency couldn't afford sentimentality, not with 3 major accounts on the line. On her 3rd day, Emma called James into her office. "Mr. Parker," she said coolly, not looking up from his file as he entered. "Please close the door." James stood before her desk, his normally confident posture slightly diminished by exhaustion. He'd been up until 2 a.m. finishing a presentation after spending hours at the hospital with Lily, who had developed a sudden high fever. "You've missed 2 deadlines this month," Emma stated flatly. "The Harrington campaign was subpar at best, and your team reports you've been distracted and unavailable." She finally looked up, her blue eyes piercing. "I've reviewed your history with this company, and frankly, the disconnect between your past performance and current output is concerning." James nodded, his jaw tight. "I understand. I've been dealing with some personal." "You got fired." The words hung in the air between them. James felt the floor shift beneath his feet, his mind racing to Lily, to mortgage payments, health insurance, and the promise he'd made to his late wife that their daughter would always feel secure. But instead of pleading or making excuses, James straightened his shoulders and looked directly into Emma's eyes. "No," he said quietly. "I didn't." Emma blinked, clearly not expecting this response. "Excuse me?" "I said no. I didn't get fired." His voice grew stronger. "Because firing me would be the biggest mistake this agency could make right now. Yes, I've been struggling. My daughter lost her mother, and I'm all she has. But what you're seeing isn't a permanent decline, it's a temporary adjustment." He stepped forward, placing his hands on her desk and leaning in slightly. "What you don't see in that file is that I've landed more accounts than anyone in this agency's history. You don't see that my clients stay because of the relationship I build with them. And you certainly don't see that I've been working on a complete reimagining of the Blackwell campaign that will blow everything else out of the water." His eyes never left hers as he continued, "So no, Ms. Sullivan, I didn't get fired today. Instead, you're going to give me 2 weeks to prove why I'm still the best damn copywriter you have. And if I fail, I'll walk out that door myself." Emma sat perfectly still, her expression unreadable. For 30 seconds that felt like eternity, neither spoke. Then, unexpectedly, the corner of her mouth twitched upward. 2 weeks, she said finally. And I want to see this Blackwell reimagining on my desk by Monday. What neither knew in that moment was that this confrontation would be the first thread in a tapestry neither could have imagined, one that would eventually weave their lives together in ways that would transform them both. 3 days later, Emma found herself staring at the Blackwell campaign proposal, genuinely impressed. James had delivered not just a solid concept but a revolutionary approach that perfectly aligned with the client's evolving needs. She was preparing to call him in when her office phone rang. "Ms. Sullivan? There's a call for Mr. Parker on line 2. The caller says it's an emergency regarding his daughter, but we can't reach him. He stepped out for a client meeting." Emma hesitated only briefly before picking up. "This is Emma Sullivan, I'm James Parker's supervisor. He's unavailable at the moment." "This is Westridge Elementary School," a worried voice interrupted. "Lily Parker has had an accident in the playground. She's asking for her father, but we need someone to come immediately. She may need stitches." 20 minutes later, Emma found herself in the school nurse's office, facing a small girl with tear-streaked cheeks and her father's expressive brown eyes. A nasty cut ran along her forehead. "Who are you?" Lily asked suspiciously, clutching a blood-spotted ice pack. "I'm Emma. I work with your dad." Emma knelt to the child's level. "He's in a very important meeting, but I'm going to take you to the doctor, and we'll call him on the way. Is that okay?" Lily studied her with the unnerving directness only children possess. "Are you the lady boss who was mean to my daddy?" Emma felt heat rise to her cheeks. "Did he say I was mean?" Lily shook her head. "No. He said you were tough but fair, and that you have pretty hair." At the urgent care center, as they waited for the doctor to return with the suture kit, Emma's phone rang. It was James, panic evident in his voice. "Emma?" "The school called the office, Lily." "She's fine," Emma assured him quickly. "We're at MedExpress on Oakwood. She needs a few stitches, but she's being very brave." The relief in his voice was palpable. "You're with her? But you're meeting with the board." "Can wait," Emma finished. "Just get here when you can." When James arrived 30 minutes later, he found his daughter sitting on the examination table, proudly displaying her 4 stitches while Emma read aloud from a tattered copy of Charlotte's Web she'd found in the waiting room. The look on James's face, gratitude mingled with something deeper, caused an unexpected flutter in Emma's chest. For the first time in years, the carefully constructed walls she'd built around herself felt slightly less impenetrable. Over the following weeks, something shifted between them. The Blackwell campaign was a resounding success, and James's performance returned to its former excellence. But it was more than professional respect that was growing. Emma found herself lingering in James's office doorway, their strategy discussions extending beyond work matters. James discovered that beneath her polished exterior was a woman with a sharp wit and unexpected vulnerability. "You never talk about your life outside work," James remarked one evening as they worked late, takeout containers scattered between campaign materials. Emma shrugged, twirling lo mein around her fork. "Not much to tell. Work is my life." "I don't believe that for a second," James challenged, his eyes twinkling. "Someone with your passion has to have something that drives you beyond quarterly reports." Emma hesitated, then surprised herself by answering honestly. "I used to paint. Landscapes mostly. Haven't touched a brush in years." "Why not?" "My ex-husband said I was wasting time that could be spent networking or advancing my career." She attempted a casual tone but couldn't quite manage it. "After a while, I started to believe him." James's expression darkened. "He sounds like an idiot." The unexpected defense made Emma laugh, a genuine sound that transformed her face and sent a jolt through James's chest. "He was," she agreed. "A very successful, very connected idiot who taught me that personal relationships and professional success don't mix." "Maybe you just mixed with the wrong person," James said quietly. Their eyes met across the table, and for a moment, the air between them seemed charged with possibility. Emma was the first to look away. "Lily must be wondering where you are," she said, gathering papers. "You should go home." James nodded, but as he packed his bag, he said, "Lily's been asking when the pretty lady who reads good is coming over for dinner. If you're interested, she makes a mean spaghetti. Well, I make it, but she stirs with supervision." Emma should have said no. Every instinct built over years of protecting herself screamed to maintain professional boundaries. Instead, she heard herself say, "I'd like that." Dinner at James's modest suburban home revealed a side of Emma few had ever seen. She arrived with a bottle of wine and a small gift-wrapped package for Lily, a new copy of Charlotte's Web to replace the worn one from the clinic. Lily, initially shy, quickly warmed to Emma, especially when she discovered Emma could French braid hair the fancy way. By dessert, Lily was sitting beside Emma, showing her a treasured photo album. "This is my mom," Lily said, pointing to a smiling woman with kind eyes. "She's in heaven now, but Daddy says she watches over us." Emma glanced at James, who was watching them with a complex expression. "Your mom was beautiful," she said gently. "You have her smile. Daddy says that too." Lily turned the page. "Do you have kids, Miss Emma?" "No, I don't." "Why not? You'd be a good mom. You're nice and you smell pretty and you know how to fix boo-boos." James intervened. "Lilybug, that's a grown-up question that might make Miss Emma uncomfortable." But Emma shook her head. "It's okay." She looked at Lily. "I always thought I might have children someday, but I got very busy with work, and I never found the right situation." "Like how Daddy needs to find the right lady?" Lily asked innocently. James nearly choked on his wine. "Okay, time for bed, chatterbox. Say goodnight to Miss Emma." After Lily was tucked in, James and Emma moved to the back porch with their wine glasses. The night was cool, stars visible above the suburban landscape. "I'm sorry about the interrogation," James said. "She has no filter." Emma smiled. "I liked it. Her honesty is refreshing. In my world, everyone has an agenda, carefully crafting every word." "And what's your agenda, Emma Sullivan?" James asked, his voice soft in the darkness. She turned to him, suddenly aware of how close they were sitting. "I used to think I knew. Climb the ladder. Prove myself. Be untouchable. And now? Now I'm not so sure." Her voice dropped to almost a whisper. "You're making me question things I thought were certain." The kiss, when it came, felt both inevitable and surprising. His hand gently cupped her cheek, and Emma found herself responding with a hunger that startled her. When they finally pulled apart, both were breathing unevenly. "I shouldn't have done that," James said, though his eyes said otherwise. "No, you shouldn't have," Emma agreed, then added, "but I'm glad you did." Their relationship developed in stolen moments. Late nights after Lily was asleep, weekend afternoons when she had playdates. Emma, who had always kept colleagues at arm's length, found herself becoming a topic of office speculation as her icy demeanor thawed noticeably. But as their feelings deepened, complications arose. The agency's strict policy against relationships between managers and their direct reports loomed over them. More challenging still was the delicate balance of introducing Emma into Lily's life without creating confusion or false expectations. The breaking point came 3 months into their relationship, when the agency's CEO called Emma into his office. "The board is concerned about rumors regarding you and Parker," he said without preamble. "You know our policy, Emma. Either end it, or one of you transfers to another department. Given your positions, that would effectively mean demotion for him." Emma felt ice form in her stomach. "My personal life doesn't affect my professional judgment." "Perhaps not. But perception matters in this business. The Blackwell client specifically mentioned wondering if Parker's sudden, favored status had personal motivations. That evening, Emma arrived at James's house with her decision made. She would end things before his career suffered. It was the logical choice, the kind of clear-eyed decision that had propelled her professional success. But when James opened the door, Lily peeking around his legs with a gap-toothed smile, Emma's resolve wavered. "We made cookies," Lily announced. "And I drawed you a picture for your office." Later, after Lily was asleep, Emma tried to find the words to end things. Instead, she found herself telling James about the ultimatum. "So that's it?" he asked, hurt evident in his voice. "Your career comes first." "I thought we were building something here, Emma." "It's not just my career," she insisted. "Your position would be compromised. Everything you've worked for." "Don't use me as an excuse," James interrupted. "This is about your fear. You're looking for a reason to run because this is getting real. That's not fair. Isn't it? You've been waiting for the other shoe to drop since the day we kissed. Well, here it is, a perfect, rational reason to walk away." His voice softened. "But what if, just once, you chose something messy and complicated and real over something safe and controlled?" Emma stood, gathering her coat. "I need time to think." "Take all the time you need," James said quietly. "But remember, it's not just me you're walking away from. Lily asks about you every day." The mention of Lily was a low blow, and they both knew it. Emma left without another word, tears blurring her vision as she drove home. For a week, they maintained a strictly professional relationship at work. Emma threw herself into a new campaign, working punishing hours. James focused on his clients, the shadows under his eyes growing darker each day. Then came the call that changed everything. "Mr. Parker's daughter has been admitted to Memorial Hospital," her assistant informed her. "He's requested emergency leave." Emma found them in the pediatric ward. Lily lay small and pale against the white sheets, an 4 in her arm and monitors beeping steadily. James looked up when Emma entered, surprise and relief washing over his exhausted face. "Pneumonia," he explained quietly. "It developed suddenly. They're giving her antibiotics, but her oxygen levels keep dropping." Emma took the seat beside him, reaching for his hand. "What can I do?" For 3 days, Emma barely left the hospital. She brought James fresh clothes, forced him to eat, and took shifts sitting with Lily so he could shower or nap. When Lily's fever finally broke and she began to improve, Emma was there, helping the child sip apple juice through a straw. On the 4th day, as Lily slept peacefully and the doctor confirmed she could go home tomorrow, James led Emma to the small hospital chapel. "I need to say something," he began, his voice rough with emotion. "When Catherine, my wife, was sick, I thought I knew what it meant to be afraid. But watching Lily this week..." He shook his head. "I realized something I've been avoiding. Life is too short and too precious for half measures." He took both her hands in his. "I love you, Emma Sullivan. I love your brilliance and your unexpected kindness. I love how you organize your desk by color and how you always have the perfect word. I love watching you with my daughter and seeing the woman behind the lady boss facade." Emma felt tears forming. "James. Let me finish. I don't care about the job or the policy. We'll figure it out. What I can't figure out is how to be without you anymore. So I'm asking you to take a risk on something messy and complicated and real." Emma looked into his eyes and made the decision she'd been moving toward since the day she'd pretended to fire him. "I already have," she whispered, and kissed him. 6 months later, Emma stood in her office, packing the last of her personal items. Her resignation from Westridge had been accepted with reluctance, but her new position as creative director at a competing agency, where James would not be her subordinate, offered exciting possibilities. As she placed a framed photo into the box, James and Lily at the beach, both grinning widely, she heard a knock at her door. James stood there, Lily beside him holding a small velvet box. "We have a question," James said, his eyes twinkling with that familiar mix of humor and vulnerability that had first captured her heart. Lily stepped forward, opening the box to reveal a stunning emerald ring. "Will you be part of our family forever?" she asked, her voice solemn with the importance of the moment. Emma felt her breath catch as James knelt beside his daughter. "What she means is, Emma Sullivan, will you marry me? Will you take this messy, complicated, beautiful journey with us?" The office had gone silent, colleagues gathering in the doorway to witness the moment. Emma, who had once valued control above all else, found herself laughing through tears as she nodded. "Yes," she whispered, then louder, "yes." As James slipped the ring onto her finger and Lily wrapped her arms around Emma's waist, Emma realized that sometimes the greatest tests in life aren't the ones we expect. Sometimes they come disguised as 3 simple words, "You got fired," that can change everything if we're brave enough to respond with truth. James smiles at the camera, his arm now around Emma, Lily sitting between them on the couch. "That was 3 years ago," he says. "Since then, we've built a life I never thought possible after losing Catherine. Emma taught me that second chances don't diminish first loves, they honor them by proving the heart's capacity to heal and grow." Emma wipes a tear from her cheek. "And I learned that sometimes the toughest boss isn't the one across the desk, it's the voice inside telling you that vulnerability equals weakness. I'm grateful every day that James was brave enough to challenge me when I said those 3 words." Lily, now 10, grins at the camera. "And I got a new mom and a baby brother." She points to the infant sleeping in a bassinet nearby. "Life doesn't always follow the career path we plan," Emma concludes. "Sometimes the detours lead to the destinations that matter most." If you're facing a test right now, whether it's professional, personal, or both, remember that your response in that moment might just change everything. James nods. "We'd love to hear your stories of unexpected turning points. Please like this video and subscribe to see more real-life journeys like ours. And let us know in the comments which country you're watching from. We're amazed at how universal these experiences can be." As the camera slowly pans out, we see the family together, James with his arm around Emma, Lily between them, and the newest addition sleeping peacefully nearby, a complete picture that began with a test, continued through challenge, and blossomed into something neither could have imagined that day in her office when she said, "You got fired," and he had the courage to simply say, "No."